Hello everyone, my name is AZZATRU, how are you? And welcome to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 Q&A where I answer your questions about Battlefront 2, other EA Star Wars games, LEGO Star Wars and more. Every month or so I make a video like this, but a lot has happened in the past 4 or 5 weeks since my last Q&A. Battlefront 2 is no longer getting content updates, so let's just get straight into the questions as some of them do relate to that. So Lethal Gaming asks, would you want a bounty hunter Star Wars game similar to GTA? And what is one thing you wish came to Battlefront 2 before support did end? I will answer the second one first. It has to be Coruscant. There is no other answer for that for me personally. To see Coruscant in a modern day engine such as Frostbite with that graphical fidelity, with DICE doing it justice, would have been absolutely perfect. And that takes me into the first question, because yes, I would absolutely love a Star Wars game that's open world where you can do whatever you want, bounty hunting, that sort of stuff, hopping from planet to planet, but a focus on Coruscant. That would be my perfect game. Speaking of open world games, Baby Yoda asks, do you think in the near future we will be getting an open world Star Wars game? If so, when do you think it will come out? Well, unfortunately, at this moment in time, from what we know, there is no open world Star Wars game in development, which is a real shame. There has been multiple cancelled by EA, and because how big open world games are, how sophisticated they are, they take longer than most games, so we aren't going to be seeing one for many more years. It's really sad. Electric did ask a similar question to what type of Star Wars game would you want to come in the future, so I've already answered that. It's definitely going to be an open world bounty hunter game. And what is your fondest memory of Battlefront 2? I can't really pick one of in-game because there are so many in-game, but on a grander scale, being a game changer and being part of the game's community, having my feedback directly impacting the game before the game was even revealed, and then take my feedback from my community, you guys, and give it to the developers. Personally, that was just an incredible experience. Murph Plays has 2 questions. The first one is, now there won't be any more updates for the game, which one did you enjoy the most? I think I would have to say the Battle of Geonosis updates. That map is probably my favourite map in the game, and Obi-Wan was also an amazing addition to go alongside General Grievous, who came just before it. We also got the amazing Shattered Armour appearance for General Grievous. We had playable ATTs. It was just a huge update with an amazing trailer that was absolutely cinematic and brought a lot of people back to the game. It was just amazing. Now, for the second question, would you prefer the next Star Wars game to be a single player or multiplayer game? If Battlefront 2 still had support, I would have said single player only, just like Jedi Fallen Order, so they can concentrate on making an amazing single player experience. But I think Project Maverick, which will be the next AAA console and PC Star Wars game, has to have both multiplayer and single player. I want it to primarily focus on single player because I want a really good story, but there has to be a multiplayer component. Starfighter Assault lobbies are basically dead everywhere. We need a really good multiplayer Starfighter mode, and I think this game is the one to do it. Dashy Jinx asks, now that Battlefront 2 is finished, what part of the Star Wars universe would you like to see explored next? Would you want to see Coruscant Underworld explored? So I've already answered that already. This seems to be a common theme, but absolutely, Coruscant is the number one thing I want to see explored next. I don't really care for the era, to be honest. The Clone Wars has a lot more content to play around with, but I really don't want to be just limited to one era. Battlefront 2 was very good because it had 3 different eras. I don't just want a Clone Wars era. I want to see how a place is in the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy as well. His second question is, will you be streaming the new LEGO Star Wars game when it releases? Absolutely. I'm going to try and stream the previous LEGO Star Wars games as well before it does come out. I will also be making a bunch of videos of gameplay and tips and guides and all that good stuff on the Skywalker Saga game. Mighty Pleb asks, would you prefer the new LEGO Star Wars game to have actual voice acting or mumbling from the characters of the original games? For me, I don't really mind. I really like the voice acting. But at the same time, I do find the mumbling funny, and hopefully we get both options. He goes on to ask, is there a different Maul skin you would have preferred to see instead of the old Master skin? Yes. It definitely should have been his earlier Clone Wars appearance where he has no top on, where he has the big cyborg legs. For me, that is the biggest change for Darth Maul out of all of the skins they could have picked, and it just would have looked great. Count Jakku asks, if you could change or add one thing to Jedi Fallen Order, what would it be? It would be fast travel through levels to get straight back to the Mantis relatively quickly if you're very, very far out from the ship. Another question about Fallen Order comes from Aniltan, and he asks, do you think the Jedi Fallen Order sequel will be as good as the first game? I really hope so. What is really exciting about this sequel game is that Respawn have a lot of feedback to take in. They've got a lot more time to develop and refine the mechanics and the game, as opposed to having to start from scratch and build a game from the ground up. They have the foundations now. They have the feedback from the community of what we like, what we don't like, what we want to see changed. And he also goes on to say, what do you think would have come to Star Wars Battlefront 2 this year if support hadn't ended? Instantly, a Clone Wars update springs to mind. Season 7 just wrapping up. They would have probably have done like the 332nd Legion, probably Ahsoka, maybe Coruscant, I don't know, but another Clone Wars era map. They just would have done more Clone Wars because that is what a lot of people wanted, and that is what the developers probably wanted to make as well. Seabass is wondering if I have a lightsaber from Galaxy's Edge, and if so, what does it look like? So yes, I went to Galaxy's Edge twice last year thanks to EA, and I actually got 3 different lightsabers. So the first time round I got this custom lightsaber, which is my personal favourites. Then the second time round I brought the Skywalker saber, which is the Legacy saber. It's not custom, it's just straight up a copy of the Legacy Skywalker saber. And then I also got a Sith inspired lightsaber as well, which is really cool in my opinion. The Clanker Leader asks, which Star Wars game do you want to see remastered? For me, I would have to pick between Republic Commando or the Old Republic, the first game, because seeing that modernised would be awesome. He also asks, do you think you'll be doing Battlefront 2 2005 live streams in the future, maybe with mods? And possibly, it's an idea I've thrown around, but no concrete plans as of yet. And a censored name asks, if you could have a game for a single character like Jedi Fallen Order, who would it be about? Darth Maul, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, for example. To be honest, I would prefer if all games just focused on brand new characters as opposed to just repurposing characters we already know a lot about. But if I had to choose one, I think a Luke Skywalker game post Return of the Jedi would be quite cool, about him setting up the Order, learning the ways of the Force, finding amazing objects such as that compass, that we got in Battlefront 2. Things like that would be really cool. But a Darth Maul game would be also really interesting. Those are all of the questions for this Q&A. If you want to ask questions in my next Q&A, if I do decide to do one, there will be a link to my Discord down below. That is where you can ask them. If I do decide to make another one like this, seeing as Battlefront 2 support has ended. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on anything I've shared down in the comment section below. And subscribe if you aren't around here. Check out any of the 2 previous videos on screen if you did miss them. And I shall see you in my next Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Goodbye.